Jack Turner had always been fascinated by the stars. On clear nights, he would haul out his homemade radio telescope to the backyard of his rural home and tune into the frequencies of the cosmos. It was a hobby that kept him connected to the vast universe beyond the quiet solitude of his small town. But one particular night, Jack's casual stargazing took a spine-chilling turn. The evening had begun like any other, with Jack adjusting the dials of his equipment, setting up his laptop, and settling into his usual spot under the vast, starry sky. The crickets chirped rhythmically in the background, a comforting soundtrack to his celestial observations. He scanned through the static, searching for anything out of the ordinary, but expecting nothing more than the usual hum of distant galaxies and the occasional blip from satellite debris. Suddenly, the static on his headphones deepened, and a series of strange noises cut through the night air. At first, Jack thought it might be interference from a local radio station or perhaps some atmospheric anomaly. But as he fine-tuned his equipment, trying to isolate the sounds, he realized they were unlike anything he had ever encountered. The noises were whispers that seemed almost human, yet were laced with a chilling cadence that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. They were coming from a direction in space known among astronomers as the Black Zone, a vast area devoid of visible stars. It was as if the darkness there was speaking directly to him. Intrigued and unnerved, Jack recorded the signals, playing them back over and over. The whispers were fragmented, some parts muffled, others surprisingly clear. He could discern distinct tones and pitches, some desperate, others soothing, all of them weaving into a tapestry of eerie communication. The next morning, Jack, unable to shake off the events of the night, decided to seek some form of explanation. He uploaded the recordings to several online astronomy forums, asking if anyone else had intercepted similar transmissions or if they could offer any scientific insight into what might be causing them. The responses varied from skeptical dismissals to intrigued curiosity, but one reply caught his attention. It was from Claire Bennett, a journalist known for her work on unexplained phenomena. She had come across Jack's post while researching for her latest piece on cosmic anomalies. "I listened to your recordings, and I have to say, they're unlike any cosmic noise I've encountered," Claire wrote. "I'm working on a series about unexplained signals from space. Can we talk?" Jack agreed, and later that day, he found himself on a call with Claire, discussing the possibilities. Claire's voice was brisk and filled with a reporter's edge of excitement. "These whispers could be a groundbreaking discovery, Jack. We need to figure out where exactly they're coming from and what they mean. Are you up for a little adventure?" Motivated by Claire's enthusiasm and his own burning curiosity, Jack joined forces with her. Together, they planned to delve deeper into the mystery of the Black Zone whispers. Jack knew that the journey ahead might alter his quiet life forever, but the call of the unknown was irresistible. As they set their plans in motion, Jack revisited the recordings, the whispers now a constant echo in his mind. There was something deeply compelling about them, a siren song drawing him towards the dark heart of the universe. Little did he know, the path he was about to embark on would lead him into realms beyond his wildest imaginations, where the laws of nature held terrifying secrets just waiting to be unearthed. Claire Bennett wasted no time. Energized by the potential story brewing from Jack's recordings, she began tapping into her network to assemble a team that could delve deeper into the mysterious whispers from the Black Zone. The stakes were high and the phenomenon intriguing enough that she knew just the experts to call. First on her list was Dr. Emil Johansson, an astrophysicist known for his work on cosmic phenomena that defy conventional understanding. Claire had interviewed him previously for an article on black holes, and she remembered his open-minded approach to science. A quick email caught his interest immediately. "I've never shied away from a cosmic mystery," Emil replied. "Count me in." Next, Claire reached out to Sarah Jo, a cryptologist whose specialty was decoding encrypted communications. Sarah had spent years working with government agencies on signals intelligence, making her an ideal candidate for interpreting any potential patterns or messages within the whispers. Intrigued by the challenge, Sarah agreed to join the team, eager to apply her skills to something as unprecedented as extraterrestrial signals. The final piece of the puzzle was Michael Zhang, a psychologist specializing in audio-induced psychological effects. Michael's expertise would be crucial in understanding how these sounds could potentially influence or manipulate human perceptions and emotions. Claire had come across his research on auditory hallucinations, and she felt his insights could shed light on the psychological impact of the whispers. Michael was fascinated by the proposal and quickly signed on, curious about the potential psychological dimensions of the project. With her team assembled, Claire arranged for a preliminary meeting via video conference. Jack introduced the session, replaying the recordings for the group and sharing everything he knew about the signal's origin and his methods of capturing them. Dr. Johansson listened intently, his brow furrowed in concentration. The black zone has always been a subject of speculation, he mused after the playback. It's a region where normal rules of space don't seem to apply. These signals could be a significant clue to understanding what lies within that cosmic enigma. Sarah Zhou's screen was filled with waveforms and spectral analyses as she processed the recordings. There's a pattern here, not random static, she pointed out. I need more time to isolate the sequences, but there's definitely a structured communication embedded within these whispers. Michael Zhang offered a more cautious approach. We must consider the psychological impact, he warned. Sounds, especially those we can't immediately understand, have a profound effect on the human psyche. We need to monitor our own reactions as we work with these recordings. The last thing we want is to get too drawn in without understanding what we're dealing with. The meeting concluded with tasks assigned to each member. Dr. Johansson would analyze the astrophysical aspects of the black zone and try to correlate the signal's origins with known cosmic phenomena. Sarah would work on decrypting and finding repetition or syntax in the whispers, while Michael would oversee the team's psychological safety and study the potential mental effects of prolonged exposure to the recordings. Claire and Jack, meanwhile, planned a trip to a more equipped observatory that had a direct line of sight to the part of the sky corresponding to the black zone. They hoped that stronger, more focused equipment could capture clearer, more detailed versions of the signals. As the team set to work, the excitement was palpable, mixed with a hint of the unknown that added a thrill to their quest. Each member understood the significance of what they might discover, answers to questions that humanity had pondered throughout its existence, or perhaps new questions that no one had yet thought to ask. As night fell over Jack's remote observatory, the stars twinkled with a secret promise, and the whispers from the void seemed to beckon more insistently than ever. The team stood on the threshold of a discovery that could change everything, not just about their understanding of the universe, but also about their place within it. With the team formed and their roles defined, the exploration into the unsettling whispers from the black zone began in earnest. Jack and Claire made their way to the remote observatory perched on a desolate ridge, its location strategically chosen for its minimal light pollution and clear view of the cosmos. The observatory was an imposing structure against the stark, night sky, its massive telescope like a sentinel watching over the dark void. Upon arrival, Jack immediately set up the equipment, calibrating the telescope to pinpoint the sector of space known as the Black Zone. Claire documented every step, her camera capturing the methodical precision required for such a delicate task. Back at their respective bases, Dr. Emil Johansson, Sarah Zhou, and Michael Zhang tuned in remotely, ready to analyze the data in real time. The observatory was equipped with state-of-the-art transmission technology, allowing seamless communication and data sharing across their network. As the telescope adjusted to the coordinates, the team held their breath. The first few moments were silent except for the soft hum of the machinery and the occasional gust of wind howling outside the observatory. Then, the speakers crackled to life, and the whispers filled the room, louder and clearer than ever before. Dr. Johansson was the first to break the silence. "The signal strength is unprecedented," he observed, his voice echoing over the speakers. "There's definitely a powerful source behind these emissions." We might be looking at a phenomenon that could redefine our understanding of black holes or dark matter. Sarah Jo worked furiously, her fingers flying over her keyboard as she deciphered the patterns emerging from the enhanced audio. "There's a repetitive sequence here," Sarah announced after a tense hour. "It's structured, almost linguistic. I'm starting to isolate certain segments that could be key to cracking this code." Meanwhile, Michael Zhang monitored the team's reactions, noting any signs of distress or undue influence from the prolonged exposure to the whispers. "Everyone, remember to take breaks and report any unusual feelings or thoughts," he reminded the group. "This isn't just another signal, it has properties we don't fully understand yet." As the night progressed, the team delved deeper into the analysis. Jack adjusted the telescope settings, trying different frequencies and modulations to capture the whispers from various angles. The data streamed in, a torrent of sounds and signals that painted a complex picture of the black zone's mysteries. Suddenly, the whispers changed tone. What had been a soft, haunting murmur turned into a sharp, insistent series of sounds that caused everyone to startle. Claire looked over at Jack, her eyes wide with alarm. "Did you hear that? It's like it's responding to us." The team paused, reevaluating their approach. Dr. Johansson proposed a new theory. What if these aren't just echoes or signals? What if we're interacting with something sentient? We might need to consider that we're not just observers here, we could be participants in a dialogue. The notion was chilling, and it brought a new level of caution to their work. Sarah intensified her efforts to decode the signals, looking for any indications of intelligent communication, while Emil consulted with external experts in astrophysics and xenolinguistics to prepare a possible response. As dawn approached, the team had established a rudimentary method of interaction with the source of the whispers. They decided to send a simple, patterned response back into the void, a test to see if the entity, or whatever it was, would react predictably. With bated breath, they transmitted the sequence. The response was immediate and unmistakable. The whispers mirrored their pattern, then altered it slightly, adding complexity and depth. It was communication, an exchange that transcended light years and conventional understanding. The revelation was profound. They weren't just decoding a signal, they were establishing contact with an unknown cosmic entity. The weight of this discovery bore down on each member of the team, filling them with a mix of awe and dread. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, washing the observatory in pale blue light, the team sat back, exhausted yet exhilarated. They had crossed a threshold into the unknown, and there was no turning back. The whispers in the void had answered, and now the real journey would begin. The breakthrough in communication sent waves of both excitement and apprehension through the team. The realization that they were potentially interacting with a sentient cosmic entity changed the entire scope of their investigation. Sarah Jo, tasked with decoding the increasingly complex patterns, spent countless hours analyzing the responses, her screens filled with streams of data. "What we're seeing is beyond any conventional signal analysis," Sarah explained during a team video conference. "These patterns show intent, complexity, and, I dare say, intelligence. It's like we've tapped into a cosmic network, and we're just seeing the fringes of how vast it could be." Dr. Emil Johansson, peering over celestial charts and astrophysical data, nodded in agreement. "If Sarah's analysis is correct, and I believe it is, we could be looking at a form of communication that predates any known civilization on Earth. This entity, or network, might be using principles of physics that we haven't even discovered yet." Michael Zhang, always the cautious observer, raised a concern that had been nagging at him since the signals became interactive. "We need to consider the psychological implications here. This isn't just about decoding a message, it's about understanding the intent behind it. We don't know what kind of psychological effects these interactions might have long-term." Claire, documenting every step, saw the potential for a story that could redefine human understanding of the universe. However, she also recognized the need for caution. "We're charting unknown territory," she said. "Every step forward reveals how much we don't know. It's thrilling, but it's also terrifying." Jack, ever the enthusiast but now somewhat tempered by the scale of their discovery, proposed a bold next step. "We need to meet this entity on its terms," he suggested. "We've been passive receivers until now. What if we try to send a more complex communication, something that shows our own intent and capabilities?" After much debate, the team agreed to Jack's proposal. They decided to craft a message that would not only replicate the patterns they had received, but also incorporate fundamental mathematical and physical constants known to humanity. This message would be their attempt to bridge the gap between human knowledge and whatever vast intelligence lay on the other end of the cosmic line. The preparation for sending the message was meticulous. Sarah and Emil worked closely to ensure the accuracy and clarity of their transmission, using the observatory's powerful transmitters. Michael monitored the team's mental health, conducting regular check-ins to gauge the psychological impact of their work. Finally, the message was ready. With a mix of anticipation and anxiety, the team gathered at the observatory as Jack initiated the transmission sequence. The powerful antennas directed their coded message into the depths of the black zone, where space seemed to swallow light and sound alike. The response was not immediate, adding hours of tense waiting to their already strained nerves. But then, just as a hint of doubt began to creep in, the signal returned. It was stronger, clearer, and more structured than anything they had received before. The screens in the observatory lit up with a barrage of new data, the patterns now undeniably indicative of a sophisticated, intelligent response. The entity's message was multi-layered, with elements that were immediately understandable, basic mathematical sequences, geometrical shapes, and even a rudimentary form of what could be described as greeting. Other parts were more enigmatic, filled with complex structures and unfamiliar symbols that would take weeks, if not months, to fully decipher. "This is it," Sarah said, her voice filled with wonder. "We're not just making contact, we're being invited to communicate. This is a dialogue." As the team pored over the new data, they realized that they were no longer just passive observers or receivers. They were active participants in an interstellar conversation that might well change the course of human history. The challenge now was to understand not just how to talk with this cosmic entity, but how to truly listen and perhaps learn from it. With each exchange of complex signals, the team's understanding of the cosmic entity deepened, yet so did the mysteries enveloping their communication. The dialogue they had initiated was opening doors to possibilities that stretched the boundaries of human understanding. As Dr. Emil Johansson put it during one of their late-night discussions, "We are not just decoding a message, we are being taught a new language, a language of the cosmos." The team decided that the next logical step was to attempt to locate the physical source of the entity's signals. Given the vastness of the area known as the Black Zone and the limitations of current space travel technology, they agreed that sending a probe would be their best bet. The probe would be equipped with advanced AI, communication tools, and sensors designed to navigate and study the environment of the Black Zone, transmitting data back to Earth in real time. The development of the probe was spearheaded by Jack, who worked closely with aerospace engineers to design a machine capable of withstanding the unknown conditions it might encounter. Meanwhile, Sarah and Emil focused on integrating a communication interface into the probe that could both send messages back to the entity and interpret responses autonomously. As the launch date approached, Michael Zhang conducted psychological assessments of the team to ensure they were coping well with the stress and excitement of their task. The weight of what they were attempting to achieve was not lost on any of them. Michael noted in his report, "The team shows signs of elevated stress, which is understandable given the magnitude of our project. However, their dedication and mutual support have kept morale high." Claire documented each step, capturing not just the technical aspects of their work but also the human stories behind them. Her reports were filled with personal anecdotes, philosophical questions, and reflections on the impact of their work on the broader understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Finally, the probe, affectionately named Voyager 3 by the team, was ready. It was a sleek, cylindrical vessel, bristling with antennas and sensors, its surface a mosaic of solar panels and communication arrays. The launch was conducted from a private facility in the desert, away from the public eye to maintain the confidentiality of their mission. As the rocket carrying Voyager 3 pierced the sky, the team watched with bated breath. The successful launch was just the beginning, as now the real challenge began. The probe's journey to the black zone would take several weeks, during which time it would traverse regions of space that were poorly understood and sparsely explored. During the voyage, the team monitored the probe's progress closely. Each piece of data it sent back was analyzed for any clues about the nature of the black zone and the entity residing within it. Sarah took the lead in adjusting the probe's communication protocols on the fly, adapting to new information as it became available. One night, as Jack reviewed the incoming data from Voyager 3, he noticed an anomaly. The probe was approaching a region of space where the fabric of reality seemed to distort. The stars appeared blurred, and the usual laws of physics seemed to bend. The probe's instruments detected fluctuations in time and space, a phenomenon that had never been observed so directly. It's as if the black zone is a bridge, Emil theorized, not just through space, but through time as well. What if this entity isn't just reaching out to us from across the universe, but from across time? This revelation added a new layer of complexity to their mission. The entity might not only be alien in terms of space, but also in terms of time, making it a guardian of not just a location in the cosmos, but of a moment in the continuum of the universe. As Voyager 3 entered the heart of the black zone, the signals grew stronger, and the images transmitted back to Earth became stranger, filled with visions of spiraling galaxies, bizarre celestial phenomena, and, at times, fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures that seemed almost familiar. The team realized they were on the verge of a discovery that could change everything. The final pieces of the puzzle lay ahead, in the depths of the black zone, waiting for Voyager 3 to reveal them. As Voyager 3 ventured deeper into the heart of the black zone, the probe began transmitting increasingly bizarre and profound data. The space around the probe appeared visually distorted, with light bending in impossible ways and stars seeming to appear and disappear spontaneously. The scientific team, led by Dr. Emil Johansson, worked tirelessly to make sense of the phenomena, theorizing that they were witnessing the effects of extreme gravitational forces not accounted for in current models of physics. Sarah Zhou, deeply engrossed in enhancing the communication protocols, discovered that the patterns within the signals had evolved. They now contained layers of information compressed into what could only be described as a hyperdense code. Decoding it required the full capacity of their quantum computing resources. It's like peeling an onion, Sarah described during one of their video briefings. Each layer reveals something more complex and more astounding about the entity's nature and its message. Meanwhile, Jack monitored the probe's trajectory and technical status. Despite the challenging environment, Voyager 3 remained surprisingly resilient, its systems functioning well within operational parameters. Jack attributed this success to the advanced materials and engineering techniques used in the probe's construction, designed to withstand the unknown. Michael Zhang focused on the psychological impact of the data being received. The team had begun to experience a range of emotions from awe to fear, driven by the sheer alien nature of the environment they were observing. Michael facilitated sessions to help the team process these feelings, maintaining their mental health as they confronted cosmic mysteries beyond human understanding. One evening, as Claire reviewed her documentary footage, pondering the narrative she was weaving, the probe transmitted a series of images that would change everything. The visuals, though distorted by the gravitational anomalies of the black zone, clearly showed structures, massive, geometric constructs that floated in space, defying all known principles of engineering and architecture. These weren't natural formations, they were unmistakably artificial, suggesting not only the presence of the entity but a civilization of unimaginable advancement. The revelation sent shockwaves through the team. "We are not alone, and never have been," Emil spoke in a team meeting, his voice heavy with the magnitude of their discovery. "This entity, this guardian of the black zone, it's part of something much larger. Perhaps a sentinel left behind by a civilization that once bridged galaxies or even universes." The team debated their next steps. With evidence of such a significant extraterrestrial presence, they needed to tread carefully. The potential for cultural shock and global upheaval was high if the information was not handled correctly. Claire, in particular, felt the weight of responsibility to tell this story with the care it deserved, ensuring the public understood the implications without panic or misunderstanding. As they prepared to send a final set of commands to Voyager 3 to attempt direct communication with the entity or its constructs, Sarah made a breakthrough. The latest transmission from the probe included what appeared to be an invitation, a sequence of symbols that repeated in a way that mimicked the team's earlier attempts at communication. "This might be it," Sarah said, "our chance to not just observe but interact." She quickly worked on encoding a response, a message of peace and inquiry, designed around the mathematical principles that seemed to form the basis of the entity's communication. The team gathered around the main console as the command was sent. The wait for a response was agonizing, each minute stretching out as they stared at the screens displaying the deep space feed from Voyager 3. Then, just as tension reached its peak, the probe transmitted a new series of images and sounds. The structures began to emit a soft, pulsating light, and a new set of audio signals filled the observatory. The sounds were complex, musical in nature, with harmonies that resonated at an emotional level. It was as if the entity was speaking not just to their minds, but to their souls. "We've done it," Jack whispered, hardly believing their success. "We've made contact." As they analyzed the new data, it became clear that the entity was sharing its history, its purpose, and perhaps most importantly, its knowledge. Emil theorized that they were being given the keys to a library of interstellar wisdom, a gift from a civilization that had transcended the limitations of corporeal existence. The implications were staggering. As they prepared to share their findings with the world, each team member knew that humanity was about to embark on a new chapter in its history. The whispers in the void had turned into a chorus of cosmic revelation, and their echoes would resound across the Earth for generations to come. The response from the entity in the black zone was not just a breakthrough in interspecies communication, it was a revelation that would alter the foundation of human understanding of the cosmos. The team, led by Dr. Emil Johansson and Sarah Zhou, worked around the clock to decipher the complex harmonies and visuals transmitted by the entity. These were not mere messages, they were an advanced form of storytelling, conveying the history and knowledge of an ancient civilization that had once mastered interstellar travel and had transcended physical form. As the entity communicated, it became clear that it served as a guardian, a custodian of knowledge housed within what could only be described as a cosmic library. This library was a collection of information spanning eons, containing the accumulated wisdom of countless species, including the mysterious architects of the Black Zone itself. "The entity is offering us access to this library," Emil explained during a video conference with global leaders and top scientists. "It's an invitation to learn, to grow beyond our current limitations, and to join a community of civilizations that share knowledge across time and space." Sarah continued to refine the communication interface, allowing for more fluid and detailed exchanges. Each new interaction revealed layers of information about the entity's creators, how they lived, what they valued, and why they chose to leave behind such a profound legacy. The team learned that the guardianship of the library was meant to be passed down to other civilizations capable of understanding and respecting its significance. The psychological impact of such profound revelations was profound. Michael Zhang documented the team's experiences, noting the transformative effect of the knowledge on their worldviews and philosophies. "We're not just receiving information, we're being changed by it," he noted. This is a form of cognitive and emotional evolution, prompted by exposure to advanced extraterrestrial thought. Meanwhile, Claire Bennett's documentary became a pivotal piece of historical record, capturing the human side of this unprecedented journey. Her lens focused not just on the technological and scientific milestones, but also on the personal stories of the team members and their struggles and triumphs. The world watched in awe as Claire's reports were broadcast, bringing the story of humanity's first contact with a cosmic entity to millions. As preparations were made to share the knowledge from the cosmic library with the wider scientific community, ethical discussions intensified. The team, in collaboration with international bodies, established protocols to ensure that the information was used responsibly. "This isn't just about advancing science or technology," Jack Turner, who had first detected the whispers, reflected. It's about advancing as a species in wisdom and empathy. We have to be worthy of this gift. The official announcement of the discovery and the sharing of the initial findings were met with a global reaction that ranged from elation and wonder to fear and skepticism. World leaders, scientists, and philosophers debated the implications of integrating such advanced knowledge into human society. Education systems, religious beliefs, and philosophical frameworks were challenged and reevaluated in light of the new realities presented by the entity. As humanity stood on the brink of a new era, the team at the heart of the discovery remained committed to their role as intermediaries between the entity and the world. They continued to explore the depths of the cosmic library, each discovery offering new insights into the universe and humanity's place within it. As they transmitted their gratitude and farewell to the entity, the response was a simple, yet profound series of musical notes that resonated through the cosmos. It was a benediction, a blessing from a civilization long gone, but whose echoes would continue to inspire and guide humanity for generations to come. The echoes in the void had turned into a symphony of enlightenment, resonating through time and space, reminding all who listened that the universe was not just vast and mysterious, but also profoundly generous in its secrets.